Okay, quick question for you. Have you ever felt totally alone while you're sitting right next to your spouse?
You mean like those times when you're on your phone and I'm trying to tell you something?
Well, I was just looking up a recipe, and it was for dinner, by the way.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Okay, but yes, exactly that. You're there physically, but emotionally, well, it's like you're on two different planets.
Well, if you've ever found yourself saying, we're like roommates, or I don't even know how to talk to them anymore, or even I don't even know how we ended up together in the first place. We're both so different. Well, this episode is for you.
Today, we're unpacking one of the sneakiest forms of relationship strain, emotional disconnection. And we're not just talking about why it happens. We're diving into how to reconnect in a way that feels real, lasting, and actually doable.
We'll explore what neuroscience says about emotional pain, why those little bids for connection matter, and how understanding each other's core motives can take your relationship from blah to deep and thriving.
Ooh, that sounds fun. This is also a little sneak peek of our free Winning at Relationships Mastery class that's going to be launching this week. And in it, we will share the research-based tools that help couples like you connect, communicate better, and stop feeling lonely in their marriage.
That's right. So whether you're newlyweds or oldyweds
Like us.
or somewhere in between, grab a pen, pause your scrolling, and let's get into it.
You might be wondering, why does loneliness in a marriage actually happen in the first place? Well, here's a few reasons. You might be feeling lonely because your emotional needs aren't being met. Or there could be a breakdown in communication, or a lack of truly understanding each other, and maybe only having surface-level conversations. All of these things can create a slow drift. You might be in the same room, but it feels like you're 1,000 miles apart.
And it's confusing. You love this person, you're committed, but something just feels a little bit off. It can leave you wondering, is something wrong with me or with us?
But this kind of loneliness doesn't mean your relationship is broken. It could mean that your emotional bond is stretched thin. But here's the good news. This type of emotional disconnection can absolutely be repaired.
That's right. Dr. John Gottman's research shows that couples thrive not through constant grand romantic gestures.
Although we do like those.
Of course, we love those, but it's equally important to be consistent in doing the little things often. Things like turning toward each other, responding to bids for attention, and staying emotionally curious.
But when those small moments for healthy connection get missed over and over again, emotional intimacy fades, and that's when loneliness settles in.
Here are a few common signs that emotional disconnection may be happening in your relationship. Number 1, you don't feel seen or heard by your partner. Number 2, you don't get where your partner's coming from, and they don't seem to understand you and your needs either. Number 3, you feel more like roommates than romantic partners.
That's no fun.
No, absolutely not.
Or you reach out to your partner for connection and your efforts go unnoticed or even dismissed. Maybe you've stopped sharing thoughts and feelings and dreams, and your conversations are more about schedules. And sometimes you might even find yourself seeking emotional connection elsewhere. You might say something like, oh, what's the use? I'm just going to go out with the girls and hang out and go to a show. Or I'm just going to get on social media. Or maybe I'll just go watch a chick flick. Or anything else to distract yourself from the fact that the one person you really want to connect with, your partner, is emotionally unavailable. Or maybe you're unavailable to them. Somehow, finding other things to do feels safer than feeling unappreciated or misunderstood, lonely, or even vulnerable in your relationship.
Let's talk about what's causing this disconnection. There are actually many reasons disconnection creeps in. Poor communication could be one, such as criticism, defensiveness, or just shutting down. Misunderstood motives and love languages. Overlooking strengths and obsessing on the other person's weaknesses. Stress, life, transitions, or past emotional wounds, and unmet emotional needs that go unspoken for way too long.
That's a big one.
It is. But here's how you stop the drift. You take the first step, no matter how small, and shift the energy in your relationship. That's the beginning of a more emotionally connected, fulfilling partnership.
In our Winning at Relationship course, we teach couples how to understand these dynamics through the lens of motive-based training.
When you understand your partner's core motive, whether it's power, intimacy, peace, or fun, you stop misinterpreting their actions and start seeing what they really need. It's a game changer.
Yes, it is. And here's something really important to recognize. Sometimes partners treat each other poorly, not because they're bad people or they're mean, but because deep down, they don't feel like their own needs are being met. Well, that doesn't excuse unkind behavior, but it does help explain why partners sometimes start to drift apart and even intentionally turn away from each other.
Exactly. But when both partners make an intentional effort to understand and respect each other's unique motives, needs, and wants, things can really start to shift in the right direction.
In fact, that's one of the core messages of our free relationship class. We're going to show you how to stop the drift and begin to shift toward mutual understanding, toward more compassion, and better day-to-day interactions.
Yes, it's simple. Not always easy,
Right.
but totally doable when you have the right tools. And it really begins with each partner taking personal responsibility. No blame, no shame.
And no scorekeeping either. You know that mindset of, well, he doesn't take time to understand my needs, so why should I care about his, right?
Yep.
This just keeps the cycle going. So we don't want to do that.
That's right, exactly. Instead of waiting for your partner to change, you can be the one to start. Lead with empathy. Choose connection over pride.
Because that's how you stop the drift. You take the first step, no matter how small, and then you shift the energy in your relationship. That's the beginning of a more emotionally connected, fulfilling partnership.
That's right.
And the whole reason we're talking about this is that loneliness in a marriage can be painful. Are you ready for a little bit of relationship science?
Absolutely.
All right, here it is. Loneliness in a relationship, it actually hurts. Like physically, we can feel it. And there's some neuroscience that shows that it lights up in the same pain centers in the brain. So when they do scans of the brain, they see that loneliness lights up in the brain in the same way that physical pain does. Emotional pain is actually worse, though, because physical pain, of course, it's painful in the moment when you have physical pain, but later on, years later, even though you can remember that physical pain, you don't always re-feel that physical pain. But with emotional pain, like loneliness, you feel it when it happens, and then years later even, you can remember it, but you don't just remember it in your brain, you actually re-feel it. And it shows up on those brain scans to confirm that it can be painful years and years later. Rejection, emotional, anything emotional like loneliness, you're going to feel it again. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important to nurture these relationships so we don't have to have that emotional pain of loneliness.
And that chronic emotional pain takes a toll. Studies have shown that loneliness is more harmful to your long-term health than smoking, obesity, or lack of exercise.
Dr. Robert Waldinger, the director of the Harvard Study on Human Development, which is the longest running study on human development, I think it's been like
over 80 years.
Over 80 years now. He stated that loneliness kills. But good relationships, well, they don't just protect our bodies, they protect our brains. And that's because healthy relationships literally enliven and heal. And that's a direct quote from Dr. Waldinger, who is the current director of that study. It's still going on.
And that's why reconnecting isn't just about feeling good in the moment. It's about long-term mental and physical health as well as enjoying a fulfilling relationship.
In our Winning at Relationships Mastery course, we help you understand your partner's motives, needs, strengths, and limitations, and how you can connect with them at the deepest core level. That builds emotional safety, which is a huge thing. It helps build empathy and resilience.
And it works. Whether you've been married for 6 months or 60 years, we've seen it help newlyweds and even oldyweds, kind of like us.
That's right. So we'd love to invite you and also parents, if you have any newlyweds and you want to invite them, we'd love to have them join the course as well. Because sometimes newlyweds, they get married and they're so excited and then they find out they have differences and they have a little bit of conflict going on, and it really can be upsetting. I mean, they start thinking, we've only been married 5 months and we're going to get divorced. I mean, they really worry about this conflict, and they need to understand that there are ways that they can move through and understand each other better. It is a lifelong process. So that's why I say invite the newlyweds in your family. It will give them confidence that they're okay right where they are. It's not always going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be worth it to learn some skills and some tools to know how to strengthen your communication and your relationship.
Absolutely. And if you're oldie-weds like us, you're also invited too.
Please come. So what can you do if you're feeling lonely in your relationship? And we don't want anybody to feel shamed by that. It's a real thing, and it's very common.
Absolutely.
But what do you do about it?
Well, start here. First, start with self-reflection. Identify what you need emotionally. Use I statements. For example, I feel disconnected when we don't talk at night. That's an I statement.
To say to your partner, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
A way of expressing yourself to them without feeling like you're going to offend them or anything like that. And next, create rituals and traditions of connection like daily check-ins or weekly date nights or screen-free time where you focus on each other only.
So here's a couple more ideas. Make a point of noticing when your partner makes an effort to connect with you. And then don't just notice, but make an effort to turn towards them. When you see them reaching towards you, reach back, even if maybe you don't feel like it. Just do it, connect, and it's going to make things so much better. Also, as Rick said, practice the I feel statements. This is actually from John Gottman. He calls it the gentle startup. So you say, I feel, and then you fill in the blank, sad or whatever, right? About, and then you say whatever it is that's causing you to feel that emotion. And then you can make a request. And that's where you're not blaming them. You're not saying, I feel sad because you did this. You're saying, I feel sad when such and such thing happens. And without blame or shame, you just say, would it be okay?
Or would you consider doing something?
Right. And so it's just an easy conversation, and nobody needs to feel like they are the bad guy. And we should never point the finger at them and make them feel like they're the bad guy.
Right.
Just, I feel sad when we don't have as much time to connect or have our evening conversations before going to bed. Would it be okay if we went to bed 10 minutes earlier so that we can talk about our day? And so you're not blaming, you're just inviting genuine connection.
That's right. If you've tried to reconnect but feel stuck, well, therapy and coaching can help break those old patterns.
Yeah, those are great ideas. And also, you could check out library books and study together, or videos on relationships, just anything where you can work together to build your relationship skills. It's a real thing. Sometimes I think we think that when we get married, we should know how to connect. And it's a skill thing. When you take a new job, you learn new skills. Relationships need skill building throughout your married life.
And you can also check out our free class on our website, ithriveatlife.com. And if you want to take an even deeper dive, sign up for our longer Winning at Relationships Mastery course, where we share motive-based tools and relationship skill building to create greater resilience and emotional intelligence in your relationship.
And here's what you'll learn in our free relationship class. You're going to learn why relationships matter to your health and well-being. You're going to learn how to avoid 4 very common mistakes that can sabotage relationships, and yet they're pretty easy to remedy. You're also going to learn how to recognize and honor each other's unique strengths, and how you and your partner can learn to read and understand each other at the deepest core level, so that you can create greater feelings of safety in your marriage as you are more able to meet each other's needs and wants. And safety in a marriage is huge. I know sometimes we just think, of course I'm safe in my marriage. But when we feel triggered a lot, when we have a stress response, we don't feel safe. We constantly feel on guard and defensive. That's a feeling of not being safe. And so we want to get those feelings out and then fill up our relationship with feelings of security and safety.
Yeah, we call it building a safe harbor in your home. So whether you're feeling distant, discouraged, lonely in your marriage, or just stuck in the day-to-day, we'll show you how to reconnect in meaningful ways.
So sign up for our free relationship class by going to our website, ithriveatlife.com, or you can find the link in the show notes. And get ready to transform your relationship.
That's right. And remember, your relationship isn't broken. You're just missing the bridge back to each other.
And to safety. And that bridge can be rebuilt with learning to understand each other, making a greater effort and commitment to connect, and it really just starts with one small effort or one simple conversation at a time.
So we'll see you at our free class.
And also right back here on the I Thrive at Life podcast for our next episode.
Until then,
keep on thriving.